Was that just blowing smoke? Some sketchy shit out here. Oh, they've got like a pulley system. Perplexed on what's going on with removing the sheetrock at the bottom. You know, hey, we got insurance. All right, we've got 17 vacant properties. I'll show you guys right here across right around 1.3 million in vacant real estate right now. Those are our current projects. Some of them are being remodeled, some are on market. My burn rate just on interest payments every month is right around $7,000 a month. Built this from nothing. We're gonna roll through. I'm gonna tell you guys kind of how I manage my days, how I set my days up for success. And then we're gonna do a scope of work on a property later, maybe check out some off-market deals and just vibe. I usually wake up right around 6:30. That's like it's a good time for me to wake up without burning myself out because I typically work until 6:30, 7:30, depending on the day. Right now, I've been working a lot on delegating. I've been working on something behind the scenes that we'll tell you guys about later on, but my mornings, I don't take any phone calls. I am 6:30 to about 10 or 11, depending on the day when I start my meetings. And so Thursdays, I do my sales team meeting. I know I've talked about it in the past, but I run a real estate team alongside flipping and buying and holding real estate. And so hit that meeting, probably one of my favorite parts of the week. I just like seeing everybody on my team and being able to go out there and train and whatnot. But we're on the hunt for a work truck today. And here's the thing when it comes to managing people and making sure that I delegate correctly, stuff like this, a work truck, I'm not good at letting go of. My dollar per hour says that this probably isn't worth my time, but at the same time, I'm kind of a cheap ass and I'm just not willing to let somebody go and pull the trigger on buying a work truck. And so we found this online also to play into me being a cheap ass. It's like a $4,000 truck, but I just don't want to spend that much money. And I think that you can get a decent truck for $4,000. Probably gonna offer the dude like 2,800 bucks. We'll see. I've never been upset with somebody offering me money, so hopefully he's not upset with me offering him money, but it's just not gonna be what he's wanting. But we'll see once we kind of see the condition and whatnot. After that, we got that scope of work that we're gonna go run. We just started a new project in Northwest Oklahoma City. I actually bought that deal last month and I gave the sellers a month lease back. So they paid my interest payments for a month. She found me on social media. I know you guys are always wondering, where do my deals come from? A lot of the deals come from the relationships that I've built. I don't do a ton of direct-to-seller marketing. I do have a video coming out, or maybe it's already out at this point, about finding and sourcing deals without spending money, which I'm excited about because I'm gonna walk you guys through exactly how I bought like the first 10 deals that I ever bought. And now I just don't have the time to do that with content and my team and delegating, etc. So anyways, we're gonna go check this truck out today, run through a scope of work, and then I think we've got a few properties that we can walk through, but we're just vibing out, you know, just having a good time. Thursdays are always fun. I've got my meetings, and then typically I'm catching up on calls, anybody that I need to take care of, answering questions from my team. And my success today looks a lot different than it did 3 years ago, but I weigh a successful day based on what my output was. I don't weigh it based on how long I worked or what I did. It's just what was my output for the day. And if I get to the end of the day and I didn't have that much output and I didn't do that much, then it wasn't a successful day, not in business at least. And that's okay, you know, but I'm cognizant of what that looks like for me. So anyways, but back to, you know, we're right around 1.3 million vacant properties held at the moment. And that's interest only payments that we're making. Some people may say, just go buy $1 million property. I mean, if you're gonna pay it, why not just go put the money into like a badass house, which $1 million here in Oklahoma gets you a lot. But this $1 million in real estate's gonna make me, or 1.3 million is gonna make me, you know, 400,000 or so, or more with some of the properties that I'm gonna hold over the long term. But some of those properties are flips, some of those properties are properties that I'm gonna hold, and some of those properties are what I would consider a wholesale, which is where I just buy the deal and turn around and resell it to either another investor or an owner occupant. And so if you guys saw that video a couple weeks ago, walking through or estimating a rehab with my contractor, I just put that under contract. We're on track to make not a ton, 13,000 though on that deal, did nothing to it. And so that's nice. And then one of the last few videos I did of the White House, I had a ton of people that were like, that's not worth your time. That's not worth your time. That seems like a horrible deal. Well, I have 2 offers for $15,000 above what I bought it for, as is. So I think it's worth my time. But that is just, as you do more deals, you'll get the experience to go, okay, that is a deal. You know, that might have been a deal that a lot of other people passed up on because they didn't have the right network or relationships, or they didn't see the value in the deal. I have the network and the relationships to be able to sell that, and for another investor to come in and they still can make their money, but I found the deal, so they're gonna pay me a little bit for it. So that's what I consider a wholesale. Those are my favorite types of deals to do. You don't make as much typically. Some people do, but most of the time on a wholesale, I'm gonna make like between $12,000 and $20,000. But you know, if I was only gonna make 30 for doing the full flip, to be in and out in 30 days makes a lot of sense. So anyways, just some quick things to go over. I'm not gonna talk forever this time around. We're gonna meet you guys. I'll show you guys a quick video of this truck and then walk you through how I buy stuff off of Facebook Marketplace, because it's a Facebook Marketplace fine, without getting screwed. If you watched a few videos ago, I went through how I got started. I bought and sold vehicles off of Facebook Marketplace and from the insurance auction when I was in high school. And so what I look for, how not to get bent on a deal. I don't think we're gonna do a ton of recording when we get to the truck because I don't wanna make the dude uncomfortable. But if he's cool with it, we may record for a second. So I'll walk through what that looks like once we leave that. And so anyways, catch you guys here in a little bit. I might've been a little too thorough. So we rolled up, here's the truck in front of us. We just made a deal on it. He's asking $4,000, and I of course got to negotiate a little bit. And so, was that just blowing smoke? Check that exhaust when we roll up here. So, anyways, it's got some issues. It's got some rust. It's got some panels missing, but I mean, you can't really get a truck anywhere. Yeah, it's blowing smoke for sure. It might be a head gasket leaking. I had a feeling the head gasket might be leaking because it's running a little hot. And so this is a little concerning to me right here. We're gonna go run the codes. We wanted to check the codes out and see what they were looking like, but we didn't notice that it was blowing smoke out the exhaust. It was running a little hot, and so I just used ChatGPT, got up under there, checked under the engine. It's from Minnesota, so it's up north. It's got a little bit of rust on it. I don't really care about that. We're just gonna use it as a work truck. We ran it through the highway, or ran it on the highway, ran good, but that smoke is a little concerning. I'm interested. I'll have to ChatGPT that when we get up here. Anyways, we got him at 3,300 from 4,000. Didn't seem like it was gonna take much less than that. And really, we've been looking for a couple weeks. There is not anything. The 2002 model, 140,000 miles. But something that I always get a little concerned about on the vehicles is people will roll them back. They'll roll the mileage back. And so you've got to look at the condition. This truck has either been ran really hard for 140,000 miles or it's been rolled back because it's not in the best of shape. I don't think this guy rolled it back. He seems like an honest guy, but I think maybe, you know, someone previously did. I don't know, I always got to look out, especially when you're buying a used vehicle, because you just never know. I mean, shit just breaks on these older vehicles. So we're gonna go run the codes. I'm a little concerned it's blowing smoke. What are your thoughts about that? Should have hired a mechanic, Logan says. Yeah, probably. I mean, I felt pretty confident outside of, it did run good.
Sound bad at all.
Outside of this, blowing smoke. I mean, the reality is, as long as the engine doesn't go bad or the tranny doesn't go bad, if we gotta spend 1,500 bucks, $2,000 to fix it, and it runs good after that, then we'll have a nice little work truck on our hands. But I also don't want to get stuck with something that's gonna shit out on us like immediately. So anyways, we're gonna run the codes, we'll see what's up. Then we're gonna go run that scope of work at the property. And so we'll check that out and see how that goes, and we'll meet you guys there. Well, they say no deal is better than a bad deal. We didn't buy it. And I feel bad because we kind of negotiated with the guy, but we followed him over here. So the engine's running a little hot, and then we follow him over here. And once again, this is a work truck for Logan, my project manager. We need a work truck. It needs to be somewhat reliable. And he's blowing white smoke the whole time. And so if you're not using ChatGPT, you should be, because ChatGPT is awesome. I took some photos. I crawled up under there, took some photos. It's leaking some sort of oil, running a little hot on the engine, which could mean a head gasket issue. And then it's blowing the white smoke. And so running a little hot and blowing the white smoke, it's blowing out coolant, which means it's a head gasket issue, which isn't a cheap fix. And this, once again, I always apply this to real estate. It's about your due diligence, you know? He was ready to get the deal done. Seemed like a really nice guy. Nothing against him at all. But I told him, I was like, look, I'm still open to buying it, but I now have to go do some due diligence because we've got a head gasket issue. And we read the codes at AutoZone. We were talking to the guys and they were like, yeah, it's probably a head gasket. But something that was a little interesting was when we were bringing up it being a head gasket issue, he was like, no, I don't think it is. Coolant's always seemed fine, like originally. And then when we get to AutoZone, all of a sudden it's, yeah, after we talked about the white smoke, he's like, yeah, I ChatGPT'd that as well. And I was like, that's interesting. So anyways, no deal's better than a bad deal. We passed up on it today. Seemed like a pretty good truck for $3,200, but I don't know how much it is to replace a head gasket. And so if that's Logan, you know, if that's what he's driving around and we gotta go replace head gasket, it's just not worth it. So you could see it as a waste of time. I think that we got to check out the vehicle and kind of do a little research, and I always like learning, you know, so I like the process of taking my time, not getting antsy. I used to, when I was a little bit younger, I'd get antsy, I'd get pumped up, like just want to buy it, get emotional. And so we were very methodical. I feel bad for the guy. I mean, we took up an hour of his time, but I had every intention of buying it until I realized that it's probably got a head gasket issue. So we just bought this property up here for $82,000 last month. I used Farmers Bank. So on this one, commercial financing, I think I put like $6,000 down with down payment and closing costs. So we weren't out of pocket very much on this one, but I'm pumped up. And you guys are gonna see this today because we've got a new crew that we're running, direct to crew. Yesterday, so I've been thinking about this. I always think identifying constraints. Alex Hormozy talks about this a lot. Where are your constraints at? Identifying constraints. So right now, I enjoy my contractors. They're probably gonna be watching this video. So, but just keeping it real, I pay a little over $10,000 a month or $10,000 per week in labor to my GCs that then they pay their guys. And we keep about 7 guys on payroll. With that being said, they don't work on the jobs. They manage the jobs. They have a lot of skill. They have a lot of, you know, they bring a lot to the table with their skill sets and stuff, and they manage the guys beneath them, which don't speak English. And so that is definitely a plus for us. But I got to thinking every once in a while I'll wake up with an epiphany. And so yesterday I woke up and I was like, I'm paying, you know, $2,000 a day or something, $1,500 a day for labor. And I feel pretty experienced. I've done 50 plus rehab. I don't even know how many rehabs I've done, but we've bought and sold over 10 million in real estate. So I feel like I know what I'm doing when it comes to rehab management. I know what I'm looking for. And so I was thinking about it, and I've subbed stuff out before, but I've never ran my own crew in-house, like truly my crew. I pay the guys that work for me directly. And I was like, you know what? I know some other guys in town that are running their own crews. They're paying them directly. And day rates right now are in Oklahoma, this is Oklahoma City, so this is very market specific, 125 to 250 per day is about the going day rate for a general laborer that has skill sets with tile, demolition, paint, flooring, stuff like that. And so I hopped in a bunch of Facebook groups. I posted a bunch of job postings yesterday morning, ended up getting blown up, ton of people. And right now, investors are hurting, which is making day laborers and contractors and subs hurt as well. So they're looking for work, they need the work. And so I have a position of leverage because I have jobs and I have cash and I'm able to pay these guys. So I made a bunch of job posts, probably had 50 people reach out to me. We met 3 of them yesterday, and I just wanted to hire 3 guys because I think 3 guys is perfect for like most rehabs. And so I met them yesterday. We hired them on the spot. So within 8 hours had hired these guys, and they've been working on these jobs. So they're at this job that we're going to today. Once again, you know, we had references, we interviewed them and seemed like we were gonna fit well. And so we just started moving quick. And so we're gonna see how this rehab goes. And I always weigh things based off of risk reward. So here's my risk reward here. The risk is they do a poor job which this is going to be quick feedback loops. It's not like I'm just going to say, hey, go ahead and get started. We're checking daily. We have them sending us videos daily, and I know what I'm looking for. So I'm going to know very quickly if things aren't being done correctly, or if someone's fibbing to me, it doesn't have the experience, or they're just not working hard enough. And so my risk in this is I waste time, and I probably waste $3,000 to $5,000, right? We'll say $3,000 to $5,000 because at the rate that I'm paying them, which I agreed to $200 per day per guy, so $600 total. You know, a week's labor is about $3,000. And so I may waste a week, week and a half, so that's $3,000 to $5,000. Now my reward is, if this works out, I'm saving 30% top line, 30% on labor, which is gonna save me across an entire year close to $70,000 just with one crew. So multiply that by 2, I'm 150 grand that's saved just by saving $200 to $400 per day on labor. Hopefully you guys are tracking there. It's a lot of numbers. But I just woke up with this epiphany, and I was like, that $3,000 to $5,000 for an upside of saving $70,000 to $150,000, worth it every day in my book. And so we're gonna try this out. We're gonna see how it goes. One of two things is gonna happen. We're gonna crash and burn because of a language barrier, which one of the guys does speak English fairly well, and the other guys don't speak any English. Or we're gonna soar. These guys are gonna have a job, which we're out of a job, and we're gonna have a new model to run with. So we're building out systems as we go. You know, we have systems for them checking in every morning, for them ordering materials, for them sending end of day reports. It's the same thing that I do when I manage my payroll team, which I do right now. I'm just implementing with these guys. Now with the GC, the downside is I don't have as much leverage. I can hound that GC, that general contractor, but the guys that work for him aren't on my payroll. I can't just go check in and tell them what to do. I have to go through the GC because there's a level, or there's a chain that you have to go through. And so anyways, I'm pumped up. We're gonna see how this goes. Like I said, you know, my risk is $3,000 to $5,000, which I'm okay risking because I am able to, and my upside is, you know, probably 100,000 saved this year, which is 100,000 more in my pocket. So anyways, we'll see what's up. We just listed a property for sale today, and I posted on Facebook last night. So if you guys follow me on Facebook, that's been like my main platform over the last year that I started posting a lot on, and before I hopped on YouTube. But you know, we just spent $96,000 on a rehab. This is a flip property, found it on MLS. It's so funny how this works because it was just like a right time, right place type of thing. And whether people say you're lucky for finding that deal, because we'll probably make 100 grand, a little over 100,000 on this deal. Whether people say, you know, that's just all luck, or, you know, whatever it is. I mean, I just think that luck comes when you show up and you put in the reps. I show up, I look at the MLS daily, it's low hanging fruit, and I put in the reps, and it was a right time, right place. I sent the offer in. It was no contingencies. I took the risk because the risk reward was worth it for me, and I got it under contract. And if I would have been 2 hours later, it would have been a multiple offer deal, and I wouldn't have gotten the deal probably, or I would have had to pay $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 more, which is out of my pocket, out of my bottom line. And so anyways, we just finished it. We went over budget, we went over timeline. It got hit by a tornado. It's just one of those things. Some growing pains with going from managing 1 to 2 projects at a time to now we have 17 projects on hand. And it's a lot of shit, a lot of issues, a lot of things that go wrong, a lot of new systems to implement. And I'm gonna be the first to say that we have had our fair share of growing pains this year. Now, with that being said, we're making money, which I'm excited about. We still are not losing money on deals, and overall, that's a win. But when I'm looking at these deals, it's, you know, if I go over budget, over timeline, that's a failure in my book, but we're still making money. And so all that to say, you make your money when you buy. And I used to think that was so silly. I'm like, you don't make any money when you buy a property. But what people mean by that is when you buy a property is when you have made your money, because it doesn't matter what you do. You can go over budget, you can go over timeline, or you can just sell the deal as is and you've made your money. And that's why I was telling you guys about wholesaling earlier, some wholesale deals that I bought, where I bought them as is. One of them I'm gonna make 13,000, 14,000 on. The other one I'm gonna make 14,000 on. So what's that, like 28,000 this month on 2 wholesale deals that I didn't even have to touch. Now, with that, there's opportunity cost, and I talk about opportunity cost. I talked about it originally in one of my first videos, and the opportunity cost is if I spend another 3 months of time and labor, I might make 30, 35,000 on those deals. But if I can flip these 2 today and go move it into a deal like Maxine, the one that I just finished, where I can make $100,000, there's opportunity cost to holding them and flipping them myself rather than just moving the money immediately and buying another deal. And so I weigh a lot of decisions based off of risk reward and opportunity cost. Those are like the 2 big decision matrix that I use whenever I'm making decisions. Like, what's my worst case scenario? And if I'm okay with it, I'll send it. And what's my opportunity cost in this deal, whether I sell the deal today or keep it or hold on to it? Could I use that money elsewhere and have more velocity with my money on another deal? And so you guys see a lot of me selling deals right now, and I wanted to point this out because I had somebody reach out and was like, why do you just flip properties? And so I want to make it very clear, I do not just flip properties. I still hold, I have 8 million in properties that I hold in my portfolio right now. With that being said, you guys are seeing the last month and a half of the real estate that I bought and not the last 5 years of real estate that I bought. So it looks like I'm flipping a lot. But out of those 17 deals that I have right now, we're probably selling 10 and we're keeping 7, I think is what the mix is. And so I'm still holding a decent amount of real estate. We're seller financing a lot of deals right now, which I really love that model. And I can talk about that later on. If you guys want me to, drop me a comment. If you guys want to hear me talk about seller financing deals. I'm selling them at 12% interest. We're making a lot of money on the seller finance deals. And then we're just holding, traditional rentals at 70% of ARV. It's kind of like I'm an old school, boring model. Anyways, just want to put that out there in the air. I'm always looking to tell you, like, here's the deal. When it comes to mentorship, when it comes to learning from others, I truly think that you can just go learn it on your own, like brute force, just learn all of this information. But when you watch these types of videos or other guys or you have a mentor, you just get to skip all of the headaches that we had to go through, or you get to skip a lot of them because you're learning a lot quicker. And that's what I like about books. I don't read enough, but you can take 50 years of someone's lessons that they've learned and condense it into 300 or 400 pages. And I've got a cop crossing. Dude, what's this truck doing? He should be getting pulled over. I'm not even gonna get into it. But you condense it into 300 or 400 pages, and that's a lot of value, And so, anyways, the stuff that I preach on here or talk about, use it if you like, don't use it. But a lot of this stuff allows me to just keep it forefront of mind. I'm like almost reminding myself, opportunity cost, risk reward. Like, this is what's gotten me to where I'm at. This is why I'm able to do what I do. And it's easy to forget about that stuff sometimes. I'll catch you guys here in a little bit. All right, so these guys don't know that we're recording yet, so hopefully they're gonna be cool with it, but I don't think they'll have an issue. So this is the house that we just bought. See, we got a 30-yard dumpster. I'm gonna have to start blurring out this brand. They're not sponsoring me. No, I'm just kidding, it's not a big deal. Junk Frog actually is pretty good dumpster company. Hey, Que Pasa? What's up? What's up, Luis? Hey, Arthur. We have YouTube channel. We're just gonna record quick video. Okay, y'all need anything? Some drinks? Yeah. We'll get you some. Yeah, give us like 30 minutes, okay? What do you want, water, Gatorade? Yeah, Gatorade. Okay, we'll bring some back. I should have been thinking about that. Hey, you take care of your guys, they'll take care of you. So anyways, this property here, the nice lady that sold it to me actually watched my Facebook videos, and she called me up and she's like, I want you to buy my house. And so, of course, I always preface by telling them, because I'm a realtor as well, I have to do everything as a fiduciary. I told her, if I buy your house, I'm gonna be buying it under market value, which obviously, if the property needs work, a lot of people wouldn't think that that is something that's understood with sellers. But if you just tell them up front, like, look, your property needs work, I don't do this for free. I have to buy it under market value. They understand that. So anyways, came out here, 82,000 was the number that we agreed upon. And so we've got new siding all the way around the house. HVAC's 3 years old, which is good. Obviously, we're gonna be replacing these windows here. The rest of the windows, for the most part, have been replaced. There's a few that we have to replace. But looking out here, like, we're gonna trim this in. We're gonna do some smartboard siding. We're going to redo all of this fascia is what that's called, that top piece of wood there. We're gonna redo the siding up top here, and then we're gonna redo the roof. And so anyways, like I said, my guys are working by the day now, and obviously they're out here getting after it, which is awesome. Right up in here, oh, they already ripped this out. That's good. So we're just gonna do a nice piece of wood here, probably stain it. We're gonna do a 6x6 here, stain that cedar, and then we're gonna redo this smartboard siding. You know, a lot of times when you're remodeling these houses, you need to know what the comps are doing in the neighborhood. If you can get your prices done right, I don't think there's anything wrong with putting granite inside. You know, I've been seeing this lately. Here, we'll step in here real quick. I've been seeing this everywhere lately where, especially on TikTok, these guys are like, don't let your wife pick the finishes, or don't over remodel a property. You know, they'll say, don't put granite in a property where everything's laminate in the area. And I'm like, if you can fit granite in the budget and you know the comps are selling for a certain price and you buy the property right, I don't see anything wrong with putting granite, because granite in this property is gonna cost me $1,200. If I put laminate in here, it's gonna cost me $700. And so it's really not that much of a price difference to make it that much better, because right now inventory is rising. And so there's a lot more inventory on the market. And I would rather go to market and my stuff sell like immediately rather than have to sit on market because it looks like everything else in the neighborhood. And so like that one that we listed today, 330,000, we spent 96,000 on it. Once again, we went higher end. We went above what the comps were doing. We went higher end on the finishes, and we have 4 showings today. We're probably gonna put it under contract today or tomorrow. And so, and we also listed above comps. And that's in a market that's slowing a little bit, but that's what you get for bringing a premium product to the market. And so I'm just telling you guys, this is what I'm doing right now. This is what I'm seeing to be able to still be selling deals. And it starts with buying your deals right. Anyways, in here, they did the demo yesterday. Yesterday was their first day. So they demoed out all of this. Now, something I'm a little confused with is I don't know why we ripped out the sheetrock on the bottom of all these walls. Do you know why we did that?
Wasn't in the talks.
No, we didn't talk about that. That's okay. I mean, we've definitely got some labor that we're gonna have to add. Like I said, this is I'm gonna document this regardless if it goes well or not, because at least you guys can see that I spent $3,000 or $5,000 and I crashed and burned, or I spent $3,000 or $5,000 and it went well. But we ripped out the sheetrock in here. That's interesting. Ripped out this sheetrock. This was supposed to be gutted. This was the bathroom. They did exactly what we had talked about, so that's good. And then in here, same thing. I have no idea. I've never seen that. I don't think that it was necessary to rip out that sheetrock, but I mean, honestly, the price that we're paying, we'll pay a little bit more on this one, and it'd be a learning lesson. The first few are gonna be a learning curve regardless. We're gonna have some confusion between what we're wanting done and what's actually getting done until they kind of see what our flow looks like. But anyways, in here, we're gonna frame this in as a closet. We're gonna retexture the entire property because it's got, you can see we've got multiple color textures. This is the landlord special right now, or right here. So a lot of landlords would just come in here and they paint this. We're gonna float over top of all of this, and then we're gonna retexture with a new texture. It's gonna make the whole place look better. When you have new texture, it looks way better in the long run. So all this is gonna be refloated. In the bathroom here, we're gonna sheetrock to here, and then we're gonna do a new tub and then tile this around, which I'm glad they ripped this out. So here's something that I'm seeing on this one. This is cast iron. This cast iron drain pipe. You know, I talk about drain lines. I'm kind of like a nerd when it comes to plumbing. We got cast iron drain lines, and then we've got copper supply lines. This is what feeds the water into the house. This is what takes the waste out of the house. And so while we've got this open, because we only have 1 bathroom and 1 kitchen, I think it would be worth to go ahead and replace, these drain lines. Let me get up in here. This is the crawl space down here. So if you look down here, I see a PVC drain line. So it looks like they've replaced, you can see that PVC right down there. Looks like they've replaced some of the drain lines up under the house, but not all of them. And so we might just have to replace this stack here that feeds into that PVC line down there. This stack right here for the toilet, and then whatever's in the kitchen as well. You can see, okay, we've got PVC here, but I bet you up in this wall, they kept this cabinet because it was in decent shape, but I bet up in this wall, we've got a cast iron drain stack. And then, by the way, real quick, I'll show you guys this. Anytime you see stuff like this, it's just cockroach shit. And I see that on, what'd you say, like half the houses we buy at least. So yeah. We're gonna sheetrock here and then sheetrock these windows, just make it look real clean. They had like these big pieces of trim. It didn't look very good. You can see how caked up this texture is. That's just not for me. This is an old floor furnace. You'll see this a lot on these like 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s builds. We'll cap this off, and then what I'd like to do is I'd like to run, you can feather this wood floor in, and I've done that before, but it's really labor intensive, and if you don't do it right, it doesn't look very good. And so a lot of people aren't gonna like this, but we're gonna run a luxury vinyl plank all the way through here. So this property here, they've converted the garage. So this is the garage, or was the garage. And so we're gonna drop in a new window here. We're gonna drop in a new window there. So we do need to mention this to them, Logan. We'll put this on our scope of work. Probably condense this to a small attic access. This is attic access here, and we'll probably put it in like the corner, or we have our, what is this, supply? Or we'll probably put it back here where the laundry is gonna be. So this is gonna be the closet here, so we'll probably put it in the closet. That way it's not right in the middle of this, what is gonna be considered the master bedroom. So anyways, back here we've got the laundry. We're gonna move this stack over. We kind of thought about this. Let me get y'all's thoughts here as well. Ideally, we add a second bathroom here, but I'm worried about fitting laundry, full bathroom, and closet, and still having room here in the bedroom. So I think we talked about doing stackable washer and dryer here. And then, you know what? If we did stackable washer dryer there, we could do a vanity here, small toilet, and then just a very small shower here. I think that'd be enough room. Yeah, that would be. And then we could do the closet right here. Sometimes it just takes like turning wheels. My wife's gonna see this if she watches this video and be pissed off at me because we didn't include her in on this project. But we had to get moving, and she usually has really good ideas, but this is one that we just had to move on because it was sitting and this crew was ready. So I think that's what we're gonna do. Stackable washer and dryer, vanity here. So we'll move all this over. We'll have vanity here, mirror, light fixture, toilet. And then this is enough room for a shower here. I mean, it's gonna be a little tight. It's gonna be a tight shower, but if you can add a second bathroom, I mean, that puts you in a different comp range at that point. We're getting rid of this door. We're just gonna frame this up. We don't need a door here. And then I didn't even see all this, so we're gonna get rid of this here as well. But anyways, that's the master bathroom and bedroom. I'm still like perplexed on what's going on with removing the sheetrock at the bottom. They did all this in a day, and then they sent us the video, and I thought I kind of seen that. I was like, don't know what the reason was. Yeah, I'm gonna ask them. We're gonna throw in some light fixtures, and then come to the kitchen real quick. Fridge, what do we agree? We were gonna do fridge, lower cabinet, and then this is gonna come around, and then we're gonna do sink here. This is gonna be dishwasher here, and then we're gonna bring 220 for a stove outlet right here, and then we're gonna do a vent hood with a lower cabinet here as well. So that's the goal in here. New hot water tank, because the hot water tank's ancient. See in there, replace hot water tank, probably cost 600 bucks or something. So yeah, this is pretty easy remodel here. I'm hoping to be in and out in 5 weeks, but I've given them 6 in case it takes us 6 weeks. You know, the way I'm looking at this is I've got 7,000 for a new roof, which these guys can actually roof this place, and I guess Arthur used to be a roofer, but I'm still kind of contemplating that. I don't know if I want them to do it. And then I pay them 200 per day times 3, or let's see, 200 times 3, 600 a day times 5, 3,000 a week times 5. That's 15,000 for 5 weeks, plus another 3,000. So we'll say 6 weeks, we're in and out. Hopefully no later than this. And then we'll, I think we estimated materials. I was thinking we'd do around 12 is what we typically pay for materials, like between fixtures and tile and flooring and paint. I think we'll be 12,000 or less. We've got another project that is the exact same size, and I think we were all in at 12,000. I hope that's not too loud in the video, we'll see. But so plus 12,000, so we're at 30,000 plus 7,000 for a roof. We're at 37,000. Even if we spent 45, which I originally thought we'd probably spend on this, we'd still be good. So we got a little bit of a buffer in here. But my goal with this one is probably just to flip it, unless you see ARV is right around 170 times 70% puts us at 119. If we're all in 119 or less, rents in here are 1,300 bucks a month. It's not really gonna cash flow, but it'd be good for my taxes. And so I'll just hold it because everything will be new at that point. So anyways, that's the goal with this one, just an easy little flip. I actually had an owner finance offer. Somebody wanted to owner finance it as is for 110,000. But when I looked at my loan to value, I wasn't gonna have that 30% equity that I tell you guys about. And so I just held to my numbers and I said no. Even though it still would have cash flowed, 12% interest, you know. Let's check out what these guys got going on. Some sketchy shit out here. Oh, they've got like a pulley system. You know, hey, we got insurance. We got insurance on myself. We got insurance on my LLC. And we got insurance on the property. So if shit hits the fan, I mean, we'll figure it out. Hopefully we won't have a hole in the roof by the time we get back. Now, in all reality, we vetted these guys out and I saw their work. And so they've done tree work in the past, but something about doing tree work just stresses me out because, especially when they're like right over the house. Hey, Arthur, we brought Gatorades. Hey, real quick question. Yeah. How come y'all took the sheetrock off the bottom?
Because it's like a mold already.
Oh, yeah? Really?
Yeah.
What do you think it's from?
The humid.
Oh, because it's sitting without AC.
Outside.
Yeah.
Like that in the future, it's gonna be.
Yeah, it'll go bad. Thank you. Thanks for looking out. What, we got it all gone though? It's all out of there? The mold and stuff?
Almost there.
Yeah, okay. Here's y'all's, here's these Gatorades. Here you go, Carlos.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll leave y'all alone. That's interesting. So, I guess they were saying that they saw like mold, which here, let me tell you guys real quick. It's not mold unless we test it. I don't know what it is, but obviously I'm not gonna test it. We're gonna cut it out. We're gonna get rid of it and make sure that it's all gone on the inside. So there's no telling if it was actually mold or not, or what it was, but I like that. They made a judgment call. I like whenever guys can just move. Maybe if they would have texted me, I'm just glad we didn't walk in and all the sheetrock gone. That would have been interesting. But Raina got them some Gatorades, but I don't see any moisture, any residual moisture at least. So whatever it was, it doesn't smell moldy in here at all or smell like any moisture's in here. Oh, I'm gonna ask them real quick on this drain stack, see if they're comfortable doing that. Hey, Arthur, one more thing. Hey, you know the drain stack, the drain line, it's cast iron?
What, on the shower?
Yeah. Are you guys able to replace that with PVC?
Yeah, with yeah.
You've done that before?
Yeah, for the hot water and cold water.
No, for where the shit goes.
Gray water. Replace with PVC?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
You can do that? You feel comfortable doing that? Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. We're gonna get a scope of work for you.
Okay.
So, all right, awesome.
Yeah, we measured already the trim and the floor, but we're gonna give you later that.
Okay, just let me know for next week so you guys have materials when you need them. I'm assuming you guys are floating the texture starting like Monday?
So tomorrow no work or what?
Yeah, oh yeah. Are you guys gonna finish this today?
I don't know, man.
Okay. What about these tree limbs up here?
Do you want trim it too?
Can we?
Yeah, we can, but maybe tomorrow.
How much time will that take?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Not much, but you know, it's a climbing.
You gotta climb this tree?
Yeah, I came all the way in the top. Only that way we can do that.
You did it already?
Yeah, I went over there on the top and the same we did it without tooling. It's not kind of, you know.
Ideally, if we can trim those.
Tomorrow.
Okay, we'll do a scope of work so you have a list.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Arthur. Thank you, sir. Golly, these guys are studs. No fucking way am I climbing that tree. That might say something about my character, but that's sketchy. Anyways, I guess the work's gotta be done. So let's roll back in here real quick. So we were using company cam, which is really good. You can snap photos and you can write notes. And honestly, I'm thinking that with this crew, Logan, I didn't tell you this yet, but I think we probably go back to company cam because it'll draw up our scopes of work. Whenever we were using the GCs, I mean, we were just kind of having them handle the scope of work. And I mean, we'd line it out in text, but it wasn't super professional. And so we're gonna walk through full scope work today, but company cam, I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but they're pretty good company to have do that. So anyways, okay, we'll start on the exterior and then we'll work our way in. And then probably what we'll do is we'll draw this out as well, especially for like the bathroom and stuff so they know what we're looking for. I'm gonna grab my notebook real quick. But when it comes to the scope of work, I mean, especially if it's your first few rehabs, you need to be checking in on this almost daily because you don't want to check in or not check in for a week and they lay all the flooring and they lay it wrong, you know. And so with this new crew, quick feedback loops is what we're looking for. We're looking to stay on top of them, make sure that we get quick feedback and make sure that the work's being done correctly and to like the standard that I'm looking for. And you know, then there's just less room for error overall. Lock this up. All right, so we're gonna start here on the exterior. I use this here, it's called a Remarkable. I'm cheap. Once again, I bought this off Facebook Marketplace, but I was carrying around, I would use like pages a day. And so this just helps me keep everything a little bit more organized. So we're gonna come in here, type in our address, and then I'm gonna do a rough draft on here, and then we'll move it over to something that we can print off like a Google Doc with photos and sketches, etc., to make sure this is done right. And so we gotta come around this other side because of that. Yeah, I think we get on company cam again. It's gonna make our life, because what we could do is we could snap a photo of this and then we could write exactly what we want done. And so it's just a little bit harder. So what I'm gonna do, front exterior right here. And then we're just gonna be as specific as possible. So window, and you don't have to write it up perfectly, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have ChatGPT get clear. I'm gonna feed this into ChatGPT. I'm gonna have them get a clear scope from there, and then we'll put it on a Word doc and we'll be good to go. So front exterior, window wear garage conversion, because that's what that is right there. And then we're gonna put replace, and then need measurements, which these guys should be measuring out hopefully tomorrow so we can get those ordered. And then I really didn't like how, so we've got our siding, but then you can see right up here at the top we've got some damaged siding. And I'm not sure that we're gonna be able to replace this siding with the exact color. Yeah, well, what I was thinking is we just replace the damaged stuff and then we'll just paint the whole house, because we already talked to them, 3 days of labor. So we've got, you know, $2 grand to repaint the exterior, labor only. And so we're just gonna write up the scope. We'll come through with them again next week. Ideally, we don't have to repaint it, but there's some little stuff like this. Even though the siding is only a couple years older, like a year old, where hail's damaged, because this vinyl siding just doesn't last that long. It's not very good. It's not a good facade in my opinion, but we're working with what we've got. We're gonna do new shutters. So new wood shutters, and then stained or painted. Well, I haven't decided what we're gonna do there. I think our best bet is to take off this. No, I think we're just gonna have to try and match this siding. So sometimes what I'll do, because really if we only have to replace a few pieces of siding, to repaint the entire exterior just doesn't make sense. So I'll just take an exterior photo like this, Google image search, and then we'll go to products, boom, there it is at Menards. Copyright, so there we go. Oh, Walmart siding, nice. What do you think? That's it, huh?
No.
Is that not it?
Look at the grains on this.
Yeah, you're right. So anyways, we'll just go through here until we can kind of figure out exactly where they got it from. Worst case, we'll repaint that exterior. So replace this window here. We're gonna do a new trim piece over the garage conversion, because this just kind of looks odd, looks off. You can see that's original wood probably right here where this gutter's at. So I'll write that down. Golly, it's hot in Oklahoma today. It's like 105 out, I think, or something like that is what it was saying. So new front exterior windowsill. What I've learned is if you have it in writing, then there's nothing that can be disputed. You know, it's like, this is exactly what we want it done. So that's why we want it in writing. We want it as thorough as possible, because in the past we keep it verbal and it's like, well, we talked about this, but it was 4 weeks ago, you know, so who's right, who's wrong? There's nothing to hold anybody to. So, yeah, and so we'll do just a thick trim piece in between the windows. You guys can see I've got some awesome handwriting. And then mulch and clean up all exterior landscaping. And then there was a spot here as well that I saw. So I personally think, because this is mainly our only crack, you can't see the rest of the driveway, but the rest of the driveway is in pretty good shape. So we need to resurface this with just concrete. I think we'll be fine. The problem with doing that, and I'll just be upfront, is it's gonna crack up again. But it's kind of like a Band-Aid, but it will make this look a lot better. Other than just replacing the whole driveway, which I'm not gonna do, that would be the best thing to do here. And probably what they did is they didn't put rebar in this driveway whenever they poured it back in the day, because whatever builder was doing this was probably being a cheap ass And so it's just cracking up. And Oklahoma has clay, so it expands and contracts. And so this just happens. Resurface. Dude, I'm almost, with these guys, since this is a new crew, I'm almost thinking company cam is definitely the route to go to make sure that we don't have any confusion. They don't let us just reactivate. We reactivate it. Thank you, bro. Okay. We're gonna finish it out here though, and then we can come back through. I have Logan come back through Monday or something to finish. Okay, so this front here, we're just gonna do smartboard siding because we're missing trim and this trim piece is all messed up. So we're gonna tear all this out and just do smartboard siding. And then a 6x6 here. So this is kind of like our rough draft here. And then I haven't figured out exactly what we want to put here. There's like this little cedar shake that I've seen before that I've never used, but I think looks pretty good. But if we don't do that, then we'll just do like a cheaper route would be just like a soffit. Soffit's like this. This is what soffit is right here, where it sits right there. So if we come to images or shopping, this is what I'm talking about. Of course, it's super expensive. I think this looks really slick though. This composite. Probably won't be using that. Or like a piece of hardy board right here. Would look good like that. So I'll figure out materials whenever Logan starts putting materials listed together. But we'll just put a soffit over front porch.
Remove these two items, replace
Yeah. We need to do, thank you. Do front porch light, shutters, and then what is that? Remove mailbox?
Mail drop box, yeah.
Yeah, we need a new one too. Put something slick on there. I think we can keep the ring though. It looks pretty decent there. All right, let's come in here. So our seal looks good. We do need new weather stripping. Just one piece. It's that little stuff that you forget about and then the guys have to keep coming, you know, and it just costs a lot of money. So one piece of weather stripping. What time is it? 4. Oh shoot, we gotta be quick. I don't know if we're gonna make it through this full thing, y'all, but we just run through all of this. So obviously, luxury vinyl plank, living, dining, kitchen, hallway, and both bedrooms. Yeah, I'm just gonna put everywhere but the bathroom. It would look slick to do like tile in the kitchen, but I don't think that, like we could do from here onward tile, but I think on this one, we'll just keep it simple and probably not worry about that. Yeah, we need to fill in this, so usually we'll cover this with just a piece of OSB. So cover floor furnace. And then we got new sheetrock wherever is missing. And then typically we'll go through and say, we'll do a fan here, a light fixture there, a light fixture in the back. I think the big one that I want to get today, and we can finish up the rest of this later, is this bathroom drawn out. And so kind of just draw out what we're thinking. So stackable. And then we've got coming in here, vanity, toilet, shower, closet. There's my alarm. Gotta go. Seal door. And then probably here in this closet. Well, the only thing is we've got this return right here. Unless we make the closet big enough. Yeah, we could make the closet out to here probably and still have plenty of room. And then we could just move this into a little smaller attic access. Yeah, and then, yeah, we're replacing that window. They just framed it in. Window there. Yeah, I had that frame in that door there. So anyways, we'll finish this scope later, but I'll just walk you guys through. We kind of talked about we're going to sheetrock in all of these windows. We've got the guys measuring this out. We already have this. I'll just draw this out exactly where we want everything. Sheetrock this window in. We've got new vinyl windows. We're not going to replace them or anything. All of the outlets are being replaced. All light switches are being replaced. These doors here, you can see they're like real beat up. We're just gonna replace this here. All the trim we already tore out. They demoed that out, getting rid of all the trim. And then here in the bathroom, we're gonna go ahead and add replacing this drain stack. And then copper lines, I'm not necessarily against copper lines. They're not the best. I would rather use PEX personally. But we're gonna do new PEX up through here. So we'll add that to our scope of work. This was framed in for a medicine cabinet, but we'll just do a mirror here with a light fixture above, and then we got the fan, bathtub. We always shower to the ceiling or tile to the ceiling in the shower, so we'll tile that. And then these bedrooms will be pretty simple as well. So anyways, we're gonna take this from a 3-bed, 1-bath. You know what I just noticed? There's a little bit of a lip up here. This is super important to catch. This The only lip up I felt in the entire house. These old wood floors, a lot of times you'll see them, they'll cave up like this, and it's because there was moisture in the crawl space that caused them to expand and contract. And that's where, like, this is a very minor one. Sometimes you'll see it where it's like really exasperated, but this is something that needs to be handled. What needs to happen is they need to take a Sawzall through the middle of this. I don't care what the floor looks like because we're going right over top of it, but then they need to smash it back down so that way it's flat. We'll do our underlayment and then a luxury vinyl plank over top. Be good to go after that. But if not, you're gonna feel that underneath the floors and it drives me nuts. I just think that it's like a shoddy way to do things. Bedroom in here, we're gonna paint, but typically if we had more time, I'd go through and I'd finish writing out every single little piece. Me and Logan will sit down later. We've seen enough of these to know exactly what we're pulling out. That's probably that moisture they were talking about there, though. You can see just a little bit. It's probably what it looked like all the way around, so that's probably why they tore all this out. But I'm glad they make that call. So anyways, that's this property. Should be a pretty simple project. Didn't make it to walking through another off-market deal, but hope these add value. I know they're a little all over the place, but so are my days, and so is, you know, just buying and selling real estate. But if you guys have any questions, drop them below. Appreciate you guys. Catch you guys on the next.